because the Ugandan tourism industry has resumed business after months of lockdown due to the COVID-19 global pandemic. Last year, the country collected more than $1 billion in tourism revenue from foreign visitors, but that trend is likely to change as borders remain closed. Authorities have also put in place health safety measures to avoid visitors contracting the virus. Here's more details of that.
These are the new attractions at the Uganda Wildlife Center. This breed of tigers was imported from South Africa before the outbreak of COVID-19. They are yet to be opened for public viewing, but that will soon change as Uganda is poised to reopen its doors to visitors.
We have now put in place, the standard operating procedure for the entire value chain in the tourism sector. If you're a photographer, you're a driver, you're a tour guide, you're a travel agency, you're a tour operator, you're accommodation owner, restaurant, we have the SOP for all these. So that is the confidence we have that we are now all set to restart tourism in Uganda.
The managers of the sanctuary have installed hand-washing containers at every major point of entry and will utilize temperature recording equipment. After 4 months of closure due to COVID-19, this wildlife sanctuary can now receive visitors. But tour operators are worried that the numbers are likely to be low because the airport and the borders are still closed. Tour operators now want the government to reopen the airport.
The lack of discussion about when the airport is going to be opened. A number of countries are now opening up for summer holiday tourism business. Uganda tourism is a very key aspect to our lives.
It is a concern shared by many Ugandans, including Stephen Rangezi, who operates a cultural arts center in the capital Kampala. It largely depends on foreign tourists.
The sustenance of the cultural arts has been depending purely on what we get from the guests, 80% of who were foreigners. Now, the closing of the airport and all the borders meant that these people no longer come. The closing of the shows have killed all, and I mean all, the revenue.
From arts to animals, tourism has been one of Uganda's top foreign exchange earner. Figures from Uganda Tourism Board show that in 2019, the country collected $1.6 billion in tourism revenue from foreign visitors. But now, local authorities are promoting domestic tourism as they monitor the pandemic.
We have to adapt to these changes, and one of the things that we have adapted to is to think more inward, to establish ourselves more inward and become more self-independent, reliant. And in tourism, what we are doing with that is to be able to develop the domestic tourism.
The past years have seen 1.8 million tourists annually, of which 1.3 million were foreigners, while 500,000 were local tourists, according to the Tourism Board. And with many countries opening up and airlines beginning to fly, tour operators hope tourists from far and near will soon come back again.